guys, welcome back to my channel. So you know how December was fairly calm for releases? We're coming in hot in January. There are so many huge titles, like starting the year off with a bang. Like some of the biggest titles that are being released in 2019 are coming early January. So are you guys ready for this list? I'm gonna go through the really big titles and the really big sequels that everybody is already talking about, give you release dates, and then get into the 5 that I am also equally as excited about. They may not be getting as much hype, so let's get into the huge list. So of course, we have The Wicked King coming on January 8th. Is anybody else getting a gajillion boxes for this, or is it just me? Probably just me. But I'm pretty sure the entire world is anxiously awaiting The Wicked King by Holly Black. Another equally huge release that is coming in January is coming on the 29th, and that is King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. Leigh Bardugo kind of owns the YA world, like she is one of the top authors, so I'm pretty sure everyone is going to be getting this and reading this at the end of January as well. On the 8th, we also have In an Absent Dream by Shauna McGuire. This is the 4th Wayward Children book. I just received this for Christmas, so I have not read it. I can't give you thoughts on it yet, but it's in my hands. I'm gonna sit down and read it, like, probably tonight. On the 15th, we have The Gilded Wolves by Roshni Chasky coming out, and everybody loves her books. I'm so excited to see what people think of her new thing. It sounds like very different from her previous duology, so I'm very excited to see what people are thinking of this. It's also stunning. Like, that's a cover. That's a cover and a half. Also on the 15th, we have Famous in a Small Town, which is Emma Mills's newest book, and I adore Emma Mills. Her books are just so wholesome and precious, so I can't wait to get my hands on this. The book that I'm personally super excited about is Song of the Dead by Sarah Glenn Marsh. This is the sequel to Reign of the Fallen, which follows a bisexual necromancer. If you guys haven't read this, read the first one before the second one comes out on the 22nd. On the 8th, we have Two Can Keep a Secret by Karen M. McManus. I don't think this is actually a sequel to One of Us is Lying. I think it's just a completely separate story, but the covers are pretty matchy-matchy, which is aesthetically pleasing to me. On the 15th, we have Firestarter, which is the 3rd Timekeeper book by Tara Sim. This is also another series that I feel like people need to be getting on the bandwagon for. It's adorable, it's LGBT plus steampunk. On the 22nd, we have Imprison the Sky by A.C. Goggin. This is the sequel to Reign the Earth, which I read last year? That came out last year, right? Okay, moving into titles that I am personally, like, stupid excited about. Can we all guess what the first one is? It's this book. I know, I got an arc of it. I just received it, like, this past month, and it's been killing me to not sit down and read it and, like, finish out everything that I wanted to finish this year. But this is Slayer by Kirsten White, who is one of my favorite YA authors, doing a book about my favorite fandom. This is my longest running fandom. In case you guys didn't know, this is a story set in the Buffy world. So like I said, I haven't read this yet, partially because I'm terrified to read it. Like, I'm really scared because I haven't heard reviews of it yet, but this is following Nina and her twin sister who were at the Watcher Academy. This is following everything that happened in the actual TV show series. So, like, Buffy is still around, but, like, things have happened. It's in the future. And this is following the last Slayer. I don't know what that means. Again, I'm terrified to read this. This technically comes out on the 8th, so very, very soon, which means I need to get to this, like, right meow. But do I need to really say more? It's Kirsten White, amazing YA author, writing a Buffy story. Not a Buffy story, but, like, set in the Buffyverse. So that's all I got for you. I'm stupid excited about this. The next book that I want to talk about is another book that I actually have, and I have already read. But that is A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmerer. This comes out on the 29th, so at the end of January. And this, I really enjoyed this. Okay, so for all of you people who know that I'm obsessed with ACOMAF, this is very similar to ACOTAR. This is another Beauty and the Beast retelling. It's very fun. It's kind of long, so it's like, it's satisfying to read. Things that are unique about this, though, as far as being a Beauty and the Beast retelling. Our main character has cerebral palsy, so it has representation of a disability, which I have never seen in YA, so I appreciated that. I tabbed many a thing in this book, and all of my yellow tabs are CP rep in this, and how it mentions it, and how it's amazing. All of my purple tabs are all of the accurate horse information. I'm pretty sure Bridget Kemmerer is a writer. like an actual equestrian, so I can appreciate all of the accurate horse information. So basically the take on the fairy tale of this is that our beast character is not 24/7 a beast like he is like in the Disney story and a lot of the retellings. He basically is cursed with the concept that he has a season to drag a girl in from the human world, or really from anywhere, and try and get her to fall in love with him, and if he doesn't succeed, he turns into a beast and he proceeds to keep murdering his kingdom. So he is pretty mentally distraught over this whole situation, and it's been going on for a very long time. So that's the basic, like, I don't know, twisty setup plot device that she used. I personally really enjoyed our protagonist. She is feisty, she is sassy, and she is tough, and I love that she doesn't let her disability define her, and it's a really cool twist on the story. But I'm gonna be real, this is so similar to ACOTAR. Like, I could pinpoint every single character and match them to an ACOTAR character, and I'm gonna be honest, I didn't hate it. It was really enjoyable. It was kind of a fun way to revisit the world that I love, but with new characters and new things. Okay, I've been talking about this book for way too long. I'm gonna recommend it. I gave it 4 stars. It's a good read. It comes out on the 29th. Pick it up. The next book that I want to talk about is called The Cold is in Her Bones by Petronelle van Arsdale. Now, I just recently read The Beast is an Animal by her, and I talked about that. I fell in love with her writing in this. I feel like any sort of plot synopsis for her stories don't do it justice because the main atmosphere of her story is her writing. Her writing is just delicious and unique and super intriguing, and I just, her writing's great, okay? So that being said, let me give you like a small plot synopsis of what the actual story is, but I really feel like you need to experience her writing, and I'm so excited to experience this book. This comes out on the 22nd, so you better believe that's what I'm going to be reading on the 22nd. But this is almost a not a retelling, I'm going to say more of an origin story for Medusa. That's what hooked me on this synopsis. So we are following Milla, who lives in a very small town. The only life that she knows is working on her family farm. She doesn't really have friends. It's a very small village. The twist on this is that this village is plagued by a demon who just randomly possesses girls. It's a thing that happens. Sounds real pleasant, right? So a new girl named Iris comes into this town, and Milla is very excited at the potential of having a friend for once in her life, but then the demon possesses her. What a day ruiner, am I right? So Milla finally, like, gets the courage to take it upon herself to defeat this demon and break the curse that has been on this village for such a long time. But, plot twist, she starts to turn into a demon herself. So I'm thinking Medusa's about to happen. So I am so excited to see what she does with this. That's just kind of the overall plot, but I'm so excited to see her writing and how it's developed over the years because I adored her first book. I can't wait to get this one. Also, Medusa origin story? Yeah. Moving into another book that is like somewhat similar, but very, very different, and I think it's going to appeal to fans of The Cruel Prince. So, do I have you hooked yet? I'm going to talk about White Stag by Cara Barbieri. This comes out on the 8th, and this is dealing with the world of goblins. So, I say this is going to appeal to fans of The Cruel Prince just from what I'm getting of the synopsis. It's a very similar storyline, where we are following a girl who is the last child born into a family that has all daughters. So, I guess last-ditch effort, they are going to basically raise her to be the male heir in her family because it's all women. So I guess they're making do with what they got. So instead of training to be like a seamstress like all of her sisters, she is trained to hunt and to fight and to track, and she's sounding really badass. But her village burns down and she is the only survivor, and she is taken by a goblin king into the permafrost, which I believe is the goblin world. First of all, that's a badass name. I'm down with that. The permafrost? Yes. And she is kind of taken under the wing of the nephew of the Goblin King, and I believe, I'm guessing, a relationship develops between them. I'm not really sure. But when the Goblin King is killed, the hunt for the new heir to take over the Goblin world, this permafrost world, starts. And this nephew kind of takes upon himself to use her hunting skills and her tracking skills to really apply herself to the goblin world that she is now a part of and to leave the human world behind. So I am really getting Cruel Prince vibes, where she's kind of tossed into this world that lacks humanity and lacks humility and just has to like make do with what she has. And I'm guessing she's going to be really badass because she was trained as a hunter her entire life. So I think it's going to be kind of a similar story, and I can't wait for this. It's a stunning cover. It's a start to a new series. I can't wait for it. It sounds amazing. And the last book that I want to talk about comes out on the 22nd, and that is Circle of Shadows by Evelyn Skye. I believe this is start to a new series by her. She wrote The Crown's Game duology, which did very well, and her writing was super unique. It was very like Russian inspired, so I'm curious to see what she's gonna do with this story. In this book, we are following Sora and Damon, who have been training their entire lives and are really lethal fighters, and they are apprentices to the Society of Taigas. Which is just this very elite group of warriors who train their entire lives and are dedicated to protecting their kingdom. But they are quickly approaching their graduation from this apprenticeship, and they are kind of struggling with standing out in this apprenticeship. So when they are on a routine scouting mission, they stumble across like a group of soldiers that they don't know who they are, they don't know where they came from, and they decide to infiltrate them. It sounds like this is going to lead to a lot of deception and discovery and rebellion and all that good stuff. I'm just really interested to see what she does because I feel like her writing is very unique in the YA fantasy world. And honestly, again, the covers. We've got so many great covers coming in January. All of my books are going to be gorgeous. It's going to be so exciting. So those are all of the books that I wanted to talk about that are coming out in January. There are so many. Like, my bank account is going to be hurting in January. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in my next one.